Dude, pointed stick.
Pointed stick! Pointed stick!
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick!
Whoa, pointed stick.
That pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick. We don't have any time for your trolling behavior on this channel. It just isn't welcome here. And so, good riddance to you.
Okay, so here we go. I know my mic's a little, actually, you know what? The problem is that, yeah, I'm listening to myself talk. I saw a video today I thought was interesting. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people that still like to talk about, hold on one sec here. Just grabbing something real quick. Something to drink. But I know there's a lot of people like to talk about the flash. How come there's no muzzle flash and all that sort of stuff from the windows? You can't see anything and all that sort of stuff. There's a couple different ideas I have behind that. But, you know, one, I think, possibility that everyone kind of just likes to ignore when they talk about that is what's on the front of these guns. Because it's difficult. We don't know. We have no idea. And even with what I'm about to show, we still have no idea. But if you look on the front side of these, on the barrel of these, whoops, damn it, I didn't mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. Once you start zooming in on pages, it gets wonky. So once you get to the front of the gun, you all of a sudden see these attachments on the front of the gun, on the barrel. Now, what those are, I don't know. And I don't think anybody does. And I always wondered why, you know, with some of the gun people we've had watching this, why nobody's ever really explained any of this. And I think I found the answer. And I watched a video tonight that kind of broke this down a little bit. Yeah, you got something on the front of this gun, even though it's really hard to see with the way this barrel is kind of covered there. Here you can't really see it because they're showing the butt end of the gun as they like that bump stock or something. I don't know. That one you can't really see because it's buried, although you can see this other one. Don't know what's on that. You got different extensions, it looks like, on each of these guns, different brakes, flash hiders, whatever the hell they happen to be on pretty much most of them. Let's see what we see here. Obviously, this is, I believe, not fired, but we're going to see something very similar to this in this video. That looks similar to that. This one's hard to see, but it looks like this one's looks like it's like a 4-pronged front end on that thing. This one's hard to tell what that looks like. This one is pretty straightforward. This one honestly doesn't look like anything, but doesn't look like much is on there, but who knows. Again, I'm not a gun expert by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, just looking into this stuff through the past years, I've always tried to find these exact, you know, something that look exactly identical to some of the stuff on these, and haven't had much luck. The easiest one to see, I mean, you can kind of, this is about as much as I can zoom in using the actual website itself. I'd have to take the photo and then zoom it in, which I've done in the past, but just look at this. I think the easiest one is maybe this, maybe the one up top that I started with. You know, that one looks, I mean, but that's an AR-10 that wasn't fired. So we can skip over the AR-10s, I guess, because they're irrelevant within this conversation here. This one, you can't really see it, whatever the hell is on that thing. And then this one, like I said, it kind of blends in with the bag a little bit. This really doesn't look like all that much. This one up here, the one on the bottom there, that looks pretty beefy, man. That looks like something we're about to see here a little bit. And in a minute here, this is all going to make sense why I'm actually looking at these photos. At least to me, it's going to make sense. Maybe not to everybody. But let me show you what showed up on my feed today. So this video, I linked it in the description here. It was titled Muzzle Brake versus Flash Hider. Honestly, I'm not going to play through the whole thing because I don't know how long it is, 30 minutes or so. Well, no, it's not even that long. But I'm not going to play through the whole thing. I don't want to play through their whole. It's their video. They can do what they want. But I'm going to show you this, a little bit of what the description here is. If I can get the sound to go up. All right, there we go.
Okay. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Clunch here today with Classic Farms.
Is the
Got
sound
Katie
not
back
working?
with us.
Sound's not working, is it? Oh boy. Okay, hold on a sec here. I know my sound's working. I know you can hear me. Let me take this off screen real quick. Fix this problem. I always have issues with this damn computer and all this stuff. Let's see. So we want I think what I need to do, let's go into my settings. Sorry, I wasn't ready. I thought this was going to be okay. Although, you know what? Maybe it's me. It is me. Okay. So I guess you can't hear the sound. Oh, don't care about video games.
I think it's a break, right? Am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm wrong.
You're very wrong. Yeah. That's okay. But that's the point of this video.
All right, so here we go.
Muzzle brakes.
I know. I think that's. Oof. I think that's a break, right? Am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely.
wrong.
You're very wrong.
So
Yeah.
that right there looks very similar to some of what Paddock had on his gun. Now, keep watching.
That's okay. But that's the point of this video because while we were having this exact same conversation, hey, can you pass me that muzzle brake over there, that Surefire? I want to throw it on this other gun.
Well, I know that that's a Surefire, isn't it?
That is a Surefire. So is that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so let's talk about this really quick. And we're actually going to put into
Now we're going to see in this video that pretty much none of these have any kind of flash to them. So everything they put on these guns pretty much limits the flash.
practice a little bit how these things work, okay?
I know that's a bird cage, but I can't tell you what
yeah.
I can't tell you if it's a one versus the other.
I got you. That's the point of this video. The A2 flash hider that you see on the 14.5 M4 military collection FN that you see right here.
Okay, so that is a flash hider, right? So let's look at this again. Doesn't that look similar? Doesn't that look kind of close? It really does to me, man. It really does. But who knows? Because I'm sure a lot of these look similar. And he had a lot of guns that had what she just called a bird cage. So we'll keep going on this just to show you the eventual results once we get through a little bit of this video. Damn it. I hate switching back and forth. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Is considered a flash hider. You've got these ports right up front that, well, they direct the gases kind of up.
Although this has got more ports, as you just said it is. But yeah, I mean, what did he have on these guns? We don't know. That's kind of the point here that I'm trying to make.
and in front of the shooter in a sense. But what that does is that breaks up those gases so you don't just have a massive fireball coming out the front. You've shot like the Q Cherry Bomb.
Yeah.
You've shot other muzzle devices or even guns without a muzzle device. You saw that with the 300 Win Mag that one time.
Yeah.
And it just produces heavy recoil and also a fireball effect, right?
Right.
Cool. So a flash hider helps hide the flash.
Yeah.
Right. There's different types out there. We've got obviously the A2 birdcage that you see on the M4. We've got a 3-prong guy here, kind of like that old school vibes, you know, that we've got right here, the little daisy picker thing, with the M16.
Okay, so we see that the flash hiders don't all look the same, and they can have like the little prongs or whatever, so you can see that.
And I'm
sorry, it's a little goofy because I'm listening to myself talk here, and not really liking that. Let me see if I can turn that down. I think I can. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. All right.
this guy, the Scar 16, we've got some fun stuff set up on it, but this is the Surefire 3-prong War Comp. This is a compensator slash flash hider.
Okay, so you got mixed match as far as flash hiders and what he said, compensator is what he called it.
All right. Now what this does, the reason it's a compensator is because it does have this porting right up front, right? And what that does is direct the gases up, and you can actually time this to different directions. So if you're primarily a right-handed shooter, you're only going to shoot this gun right-handed, you could have this sitting off more this direction from you and me. It'd be closer to like maybe a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock position versus a 12 o'clock. What that does is it directs those gases in that direction, and therefore it'll push the muzzle opposite of that, right? So, right. All right, cool. And then the 3.
I never knew that was a thing, but that is kind of cool. Whether Paddock had that on his guns or not, I don't know.
Prong effect. So for those next gases or those escaping gases coming out the front of the gun that aren't exactly coming out the ports, well, that'll break those up to keep from flashing. Now, its effect on reducing muzzle flash isn't as great as like a dedicated flash hider. So Surefire also makes the SFS3, the standard SOCOM 3-prong.
Yeah.
So it's this minus the ports, right? And it does a great job at mitigating flash. Awesome. And then the last one here on my Mark 12 is the Surefire.
Stop paying for gum damage now and dentist bills later. Use this instead. This is Focus Pouches from TakeUltra.com. You feel it kick in within
muzzle brake. And so we'll see on this guy here, there will be definitely more flash produced. You've got these 2 large chambers for those escaping gas.
And we have some, as far as the Paddock stuff goes, we have some that look like this as well. There's definitely some that kind of look very similar to that with just the ports on it. And he did say that this is not a flash hider, that this is something that's, yeah, let's do this. This is something that's more of, you know, I forget what he called it, but it's not meant as an actual flash hider. But we do have some that have a closed end on the front. You can't really see this one. It drives me nuts, man. These are such crappy photos, man. They didn't give us anything good. The one on top there is hard to say whether it's got ports on it or not. It's really hard to say. Obviously here you got something that's open-ended on the front here. It's interesting. Here this looks like his little bird cage deal is what he's got on that. Again, you know what she called the bird cage. Looks like we got that on there. We got something different on this one. This one looks like it's actually been used quite a bit, man. It's all dirty. But and obviously it was. Now we can't really see. I can't really see much. We do see that there is something very similar to what he was showing in the video. Before I went to this, it's very similar. Although this was not a gun that was fired, you know, we could still show that if this, well, I mean, you could say that if this is actually what we're looking at in this video, and this is kind of meant to, it does hide the flash quite a bit, that there is intent there to hide the flash. This gun actually kind of looks like something they're firing with the big ass scope on it and stuff. You'll see in a minute. that they do fire something seems very similar to that. Can't really see what's on here, man. Looks like some prongs hanging out and stuff. So, whatever. This looks like something kind of a little more intricate. It's a little more intricate than the little bird cage thing that they're showing. Who knows? Who knows what that is? This looks pretty standard basic. This doesn't look like really all that much. So it's hard to say. Let's go back to this. I really did enjoy this video, though. I thought this video was a good video. He did a pretty good job of explaining things, even though it's still confusing as shit.
Passes to exit through, and what that does is helps keep that muzzle nice and flat, right? And you'll experience all of this today. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got plenty of mags loaded up. We're going to try to get these guys hot, see if we can just see what kind of differences we get if you send multiple rounds down range quickly versus slow versus. It's going to be a good day. We're going to go shoot some. Let's go head down range. So before we roll into this, Katie actually asked a good question just a moment ago. What was your question?
So why do you have a war comp on this guy?
Yeah.
Versus a muzzle brake?
Okay, so I don't know if this is very relevant, but I thought it kind of was in a weird way. It's interesting he has a bipod on that thing. We'll see.
This guy.
Okay, so question is, war comp versus muzzle brake, why do I have them set up differently? And quite simply, this is my more precision long-range shooter that I know I want.
I mean, it just shows like the intricacy of like these weapons. Like you said, I'm not a gun person normally, so it just shows kind of how intricate these weapons are and how intricate these people are with these weapons and what their thought process is behind some of the ways that they outfit them. It's interesting to me.
Accurate follow-up shots on. I know this guy right here is going to be super low recoiling, and I want to make sure that I can pretty much stay on my target as soon as I pull that trigger, and I can just, it'll be like this almost, right? Barely anything. Compared to like the war comp, that guy right there is just going to be quick sending rounds down range, maybe doing some other close-up type of work, stuff along those lines. I'm not going for absolute precision and really accurate follow-up shots, so I'm pretty cool with having that one there. Just more better for me in the situation that I'd be using that in, which is more of that.
All right, so get the idea there. I actually just want to see her start firing this stuff. So I'm not sure what the brakes are because they don't talk about them here. FN15 military, whatever.
Okay.
It's an M4.
Do you want me to just join the berm, or we actually?
Now, obviously, these aren't all AR-15s, but an FN15, what is it firing? It's firing a 223. Yeah, so it's the same thing.
Want me to try and attempt to hit the target?
Just throw it into the berm quick.
Okay. A couple?
Fine. Yeah, just do 3 or 4.
Just shoot it. Okay, so now I know we're in daylight here. This is the daylight video, but there's nothing, absolutely nothing coming out of the end of that gun. There's no fire coming out of the end of that gun at all. And she'll fire kind of a little more rapidly here in a minute. Of course, she's not firing, 100 rounds in a minute, but
I rode the trigger just a little bit there.
I noticed you didn't let it fully reset,
Yeah.
which honestly, that's fine. You're learning the trigger, so not a bad job, right? Okay, cool. Now, how does the recoil feel to you? Go ahead and shoot a couple more rounds and just get into it. Like, just, you know what?
see, she'll fire about 5 rounds here, but just kind of, the whole, like I said, the whole purpose of this is to kind of keep an eye on the gases coming out and how much flame comes out of the end of this barrel.
Do 5 shots as fast as you can.
Oh.
Just go for it.
Okay.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even a cigarette lighter. Nothing.
Thoughts?
Okay. Let's see if he's going to describe it. I don't even remember if he...
A little bit. I am anticipating that we'll see a little bit of muzzle flash right through here, but it won't be great. And we'll still see, or we shouldn't see anything after the muzzle. So this guy is not loaded. So go ahead and chamber one up. Try that out.
Pay attention, because this right here,
man.
the buy one, get one free deal on Vanish holsters is soon going to be...
Fuck, man? Okay. So 223s once again. This is a SCAR, so it's a different gun completely than what he was firing. But yeah, so it's 223s, same round.
How many you want here? 5?
Yeah, go for another 5. Quick. Notice anything?
I mean, I didn't see anything, but you have a lot here, so it's kind of hard for me to.
So he was wrong. You know, he was saying that he was going to see flash coming out of the ports there before it hit the front, and nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing, dude. Nothing came out of that. Now, in total darkness, maybe something did. I don't know. Maybe he was right, but in this lighting here, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
it's what do you know? I put a bunch of stuff on my gun again. So okay, same thing. I didn't really see much happening there with it either. I'm good. I'm just throwing that round in there because now it's my turn. We're not going to come to the range and I'm not going to shoot, right? So let's just do this really quick here. I did the same thing.
Okay. And so nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing's coming out of the front of that gun. It's and that's a little birdcage thing, man. That's I mean, I don't know what to say, dude. I'm not seeing nothing. You're seeing a lot of smoke coming out of the side, you know, here where he's got whatever on the before he hits the barrel, but man, it's not shooting any gas out, right? At all. Really. Or it's not shooting any flame out. Now it is shooting a little bit of gas out.
I did the same thing.
So we do see the gas coming out front. So we see the smoke coming out of the front of the gun and firing out, which would explain why, you know, at one point we see the gas coming out the window. We see the smoke coming out the window. That would make sense. But there ain't no flash, bro. Ain't no flash on any of these so far. These have all been pretty fucking dark on the flash.
I got obviously really spoiled on my Geisley trigger. Mil-spec triggers. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, so as far as like the shooter's perspective, I can maintain, I can see my red dot the entire time. I can see what my red dot's focusing on, which is a big pile of dirt.
And obviously he had red dots on a lot of these guns. Not all of them. He had iron sight straight on some of them, but he did have red dots on some of these. But I don't think he was really aiming. So, you know, it is what it is.
So it's easy enough to do that, right? Trade with you one more time.
Okay, so we're going to see this one again.
Just for me here.
I know.
Yeah.
And again, nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're not seeing any flash. We're not seeing anything. All we're seeing is smoke coming out of the front of that gun. And that one's actually spitting out quite a bit of smoke, it looked like, to me, out of the front, as opposed to out of the sides, which the other gun was set up for, which we haven't seen any paddock guns set up like the other one was.
This is just for me here.
I know.
Yeah.
This one, it looks like it's set up so all the smoke actually comes out of the front of the gun anyway. So yeah, you see all the smoke's coming out of the front. We do have a couple guns that look like they have something very similar to this. It's hard to say though because the pictures are grainy. But yeah, I mean, we're not seeing any flash at all.
Yeah. No, that I'm actually noticing less, I want to say, gases coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that or not. Okay. So that sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of the other guys that we have over there. Let's try minus the war comp. Let's just go for the M16. 20-inch barrel on that.
Yeah, not worried about the
bit shorter guy.
Okay, so we're at a 223. And we got a shorter little thing on the front here. So see what this looks like.
Now the standard 3-prong that we typically see, kind of like what you saw on the SCAR without the actual ports, so minus the war comp part, the compensating part. Those are some of the best flash shiders out there. Their design and everything just works really, really well. So go ahead. That one's our.
Okay, so yeah, so we do see these on a couple of the weapons. So I don't know what to say.
Already loaded up and everything. I saw you chamber that one up. Go ahead and shoot that a couple of times. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead and shoot it.
Okay.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Looks like nothing's coming out of the end of that gun.
Keep shooting it.
Okay.
And she's doing that pretty rapid fire. There's nothing coming out of the end of that gun. There's gases, but even those are kind of mellow, honestly.
Yeah, I saw you kind of smiling. I was like, yes, you like that one. Now, this guy's definitely lightweight, especially compared to all the other ones that don't have.
Not really worried about the weight on these at all whatsoever. So Daniel Defense. Oh yes, we had some Daniel Defense weapons in that room. 223s. Yes, we did. I believe. I'm pretty sure. I think 2 of them were Daniel Defense. So this would be a very, at least similar. It's the same manufacturer.
Trigger's going to be pretty nice on that.
And it's got something that it looks like we had on actually one of the guns in the photos, if I remember right. It did look like, looks a little bit, not exactly. It's hard to tell. But it does look at least a little similar to something like that. And what is this? This is not this is just as AR-15. They didn't put what the manufacturers were on these on this one here. All right. Let's bring this back up.
More than 5?
What's that?
Is we good at 5?
I mean, if you want to keep shooting it, you can keep shooting it.
Okay, so there we did see flash. We did see flash when she started getting into firing a lot of rounds in rapid succession. So we do see a little bit of a flash, but honestly, looks like a cigarette lighter to me. It's tiny.
More than 5?
What's that?
Is we good at 5?
I mean, if you want to keep shooting it, you can keep shooting it.
Yeah, that's like clicking off cigarette lighter, man. That's not even like fireworks stuff, man. That's tiny. That there's not much coming out of that, you know. And that's not even a flash hider. That's something completely different. He said what it is. He called it just a brake or something like that. It wasn't a compensator. It is a brake. I think he just called it a muzzle brake.
Okay, I see you. All right. So you guys probably noticed, because I could definitely notice, you are definitely getting a flash.
Yeah.
Especially out of that first chamber there, you're noticing just that expansion of gas. It's hitting that cool air. It's having that reaction, and you're going to see that flash come out the side, right? Now, recoil terms, I didn't see any muzzle rise, right?
No.
Yeah, that's why I love a muzzle brake. When does a muzzle brake suck? Whenever you're at an indoor range and the guy next to you is shooting a muzzle braked 7.5-inch AR. That's when it really sucks. So another application that a muzzle brake could come into play, or a flash hider, if you're working in a team and you've got maybe Mark 18s you're running or something short, maybe a muzzle brake wouldn't be the best idea. What would be really good is, I don't know, the ultimate flash hider. It's called a silencer. Now,
obviously, this isn't something he had. This is not something we're going to see in that room, but I'm going to play it anyway because this is pretty cool, actually, that he actually has one of these.
Is where we have the most fun. So we're going to throw that on there. And what's kind of funny, though, is out of the many people that have shot this gun now, how many say that it's actually not as steady with the silencer on because the brake isn't able to do its job.
Right.
So I think it's going to be kind of funny. Go ahead and pop that mag out. Or you got mags. You use one of your mags. There you go. Send it home and try that a couple times now and tell me what you think about that. Seems like it jumped a little bit more to me. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Shoot it some more.
Yeah.
So even though you just dumped that thing and it really definitely.
So, yeah, obviously he didn't have a silencer. He didn't have anything like that. But it is interesting to me that, that we have various muzzle brakes versus compensators versus flash hiders, and they're all kind of doing the same job. And we really don't know, what he had, on his weapons that night. Like nobody's been able to figure this out. So to me,
what's the best muzzle device for you? It really comes down to, again, your application. Are you going to be doing a lot of low light shooting and not suppressed? Then you're probably going to want a flash hider and not a muzzle brake. Right? If you're going to be looking for quick follow-up shots, accuracy and low recoil is the name of the game when it comes to your build, then a muzzle brake is definitely going to be what you want. If you don't mind sending some extra money to the government, I know it sucks paying that tax stamp, waiting for quite some time to get a preferred muzzle device, aka a silencer, then go that option. It's nice when you don't necessarily have to wear ears at the range and you can actually have a conversation.
Okay. Not interested in that. So anyway, but this is not definitive proof of anything, obviously, because we just don't know what was on these guns whatsoever. I have no idea. No idea. Nobody knows. Nobody's been able to figure it out. But there's an option. So when, I hear people saying, this is what I think of when people say stuff like, we don't see any muzzle flash and stuff like that. It's like, well, there's a lot of reasons why that is a possibility. I'm not saying I know for sure that this is what happened. I'm just saying that that is a possibility. There's easily possibilities to hide the flash, and it does not look that complicated. It really doesn't look that complicated. For somebody that knows what they're doing, knows about guns, or even, knows somebody that knows something about guns, it does not seem that fucking complicated. And again, it's not definitive proof. I'm not saying this is exactly what happened. I'm not saying that's what he had on these weapons themselves, but very, very possible that something like that could have happened. So, it's not conclusive evidence of anything that we don't see muzzle flash within the shooting itself. And I mean, I've shown videos before of let me run one up real quick because I got a couple more minutes here before I get off this thing. And I've shown videos before of flash hiders and how they work. It's on the same one. It's like this video is like 5 years old, but I gotta watch the through the commercial. So these are all 223 rounds that they're firing. It looks like I haven't watched this in a while, but I do like to go back to this when I'm dealing with this particular subject here. And obviously, you see the what he's got on the front there. It just looks like I don't know. It looks pretty generic, man. Birdcage, I guess what the girl called it. And obviously it's in lower light, but yeah, that did give a little bit more of a flash, obviously.
Firing.
Now that one really wasn't much. That didn't have a whole hell of a lot coming out of it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that from the ground down there. Not sure. You might be able to. I just don't know. Oops. Damn it. Play it. Now that's pretty substantial. That you probably would have seen from the ground. I'm sure that would have had a sight line from the ground. Whether your camera phone would have captured it or not from that distance, I don't know. But it's possible. It's definitely possible. That is a big flash. That one there, I don't think you would have seen it from the ground, but you might have. It's hard to say. I don't know. You know, that was not a very big flash on that thing. And he's doing it in low light. So this is about the lighting you probably would have had. You know, in that room, I would think. You didn't have the lights on, so it seems like that's about what you got. There were a few lights on, but it wasn't anything major.
I don't need the sights anyway.
That's insane. That you would have seen for sure. You would have seen that for quite some distance. But, you know, when you're looking at, you know, stuff like this and it's really not doing all that much, it's like a... You know, considering the different devices they have for these weapons, I just don't know. Actually, let's go back. Let's look at. I think I had. One more video, real quick.
Hiders. Now the flash hiders, as you can see, have large ports all the way around the side, and then the front of them is relatively open compared to some of the other ones. Now, what these do is simply just mitigate muzzle flash. That's it. And the reason, of course, you'd want to mitigate muzzle flash comes more from a military standpoint, is not being able to tell where the whatever you're engaging, not being able to tell which direction that muzzle flash is coming from.
That was a military development all the way.
Exactly. Yep. And moving on to compensators. Typically, for the most part, your compensators are going to be combined with a muzzle brake or a flash hider. These two here, or we'll start with this one. This is your standard A2 flash hider. As you can see, it's very similar to this one, except it's closed on the bottom. So all that gas is going to be directed upwards. And what that's going to do is help also muzzle climb during rapid fire.
Plus, do away with your dust signature if you're shooting prone in the desert or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And also mitigate muzzle flash. So it doesn't mitigate muzzle flash as much as a dedicated flash hider. But when you combine it with a compensator, you kind of get not necessarily the best of both worlds.
So I guess the idea there is the ports. The ports let the gas out to where it doesn't flash as hard. That's what it seems like.
But you get an equal amount of each.
Right. It's not going to do either job 100% well compared to a dedicated unit.
And there are other manufacturers that make them as well. This one here, as you can see, large ports on the side, and the bottom's covered for the same exact reason. Now moving on to muzzle brakes. The purpose of a muzzle brake is to reduce recoil. As you can see, the hole in the front is cut a lot smaller. They're going to be close to the diameter of the bullet. Ideally, they want to be about 20 thousandths over bullet diameter.
Now, none of this other stuff looks anything like what he had, except maybe the one there with the ports. It's hard to say.
Diameter for most of them, and that can vary between different calibers and different manufacturers and things like that. So you want to keep it close to the bullet diameter so that you're directing all that gas outward rather than it being pushed back on the muzzle as the bullet exits.
Right. So basically, you're running it into some kind of perpendicular surface.
Right.
To where it hits that with a battering ram effect. And
exactly. That's exactly how it works. Forward. Yep. So you're taking out the for lack of a better term, jet propulsion aspect of the actual gases pushing back on the rifle. Redirecting it, yeah. And what that does is...
And I don't think any of this is what he had. I think in the beginning there, it looked more like what was on the actual weapons he was using itself.
Mitigate recoil a very large amount. And with That being said, as a general rule, as far as muzzle brakes or any of these go, really, the faster the bullet velocity, the more effective a muzzle brake is going to be. So, for example, if you're shooting like a 7 mag versus a 45-70, the muzzle brake is going to be a lot more effective on the 7 mag because a lot more of the recoil from that comes from the actual powder burning and everything like that.
I assume there's a lot of excess energy to be used at the muzzle on something that burns a slower powder like that.
Exactly. So on, let's say, like a 45-70 or something like that, a lot of that recoil is coming from the kinetic energy because it's a large car.
Okay. I'm not too worried about that part of it.
Push the muzzle in a desired direction. For example, like your AK-47 slant brakes, those are designed.
I don't think Paddock was really worried about how his muzzle was going to be pushed around. So this is what I'm interested in, because this one kind of looks like it could be somewhat similar.
For example, this muzzle brake here is also a compensator. It has ports on the side as well as on the top. So it's going to be reducing recoil and also directing that gas upward to help keep the muzzle down and push down on the muzzle. So it can do multiple jobs as well. And also you can have them combined.
He did have something that looked somewhat similar to this. At least that's what it kind of looks like in the photos. That's why I'm kind of interested in this one.
To a flash hider. You see on the front of this, it looks like these flash hiders, so it's also going to help reduce flash. So with this one here, typically with devices of this design, they tend to act as muzzle brakes better than anything else. Because of course you're going to be directing some gas here, but the gas is going to take the path of least resistance, which is going to be these larger side ports. You're going to be reducing a lot of recoil. You're going to be doing a little bit of compensating, and of course some flash hiding there as well. The main point of all of this, I guess.
Okay, so the compensating, I'm starting to understand here. Compensating basically means that it reduces recoil. That's the idea behind that. It causes a recoil in the opposite direction of what your recoil is. So the gun, it throws gases up in an upward direction so that it keeps it counteracts the recoil of the natural recoil of the gun. That makes sense.
Really is that if you have a muzzle device, such as a muzzle brake, it'll act as a muzzle brake, reduce recoil well. Flash hider, it'll do that well. Same thing with the compensator. When you start combining them, they do them decently. They won't do everything well. So it's more effective to stick with one for a specific purpose. But there are certainly uses. At times you want to use multi-purpose ones. For example, on a lot of competition ARs and things like that, you want to reduce recoil and keep your gun shooting flat as possible. So then a compensator / muzzle brake comes in really handy there. You don't really need it as far as a flash hider so much in that aspect.
Right.
So there's certainly a use for each one.
A lot of people are probably wondering, is it worth it to put a muzzle brake on a 223? I mean, on a lightweight 308 or?
That's a good question. 223, right? Because that's what we're asking about.
308 in general, there's a lot of recoil there. If you want to rapid fire with it, I would comp it. But 223 on a spring operated gas system like that on AR-15, is it really that big of an advantage?
Well, if you're using a heavy, a 223 that's built on a heavy platform, probably not, because it's going to be relatively soft recoil anyway, because the mass of the rifle is going to absorb a lot of that recoil. If you have a lightweight build and you're trying to keep your rifle as light as possible, there's going to be more recoil because there's going to be less recoil absorbed by the mass of the rifle. So you'll want a muzzle brake to kind of help with that.
Some of those lightweight ARs do kick a little bit.
Right.
Surprisingly, they do.
Exactly. So that's when a muzzle brake on a 223 would be extremely beneficial.
And I know a lot of varmint hunters use muzzle brakes so they can keep their crosshairs on their target.
Right.
You can touch the shot off.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you're doing,
cool, really.
Yeah, it's really cool when you're doing something like prairie dog hunting or something like that. You can actually watch the bullet impact the target, and it's adds a lot to it. And another muzzle device I'd like to mention that's not up here is the suppressor.
Oh yes.
When you have a suppressor.
All right. Well, yeah, we already saw what happens with a suppressor. Anyway, so looking at all those, and then coming back, And look at what we got here. I don't know. That looks a lot like something with ports coming out of the front that would definitely hide the flash. This is a very short one. It's hard to see though. Although, let me see. This is the one that's fired down the hallway. So it didn't really matter. You're not going to see a flash out of this one anyway. This here, I do see ports. That's about all I see. This here, don't see shit. They buried that one. This one here looks like one of those multiple, right? It's like it's got nothing on the bottom. Looks like it's compensated. Yeah, it looks very heavily used because it's got the scorch marks on the front. This one you can't really see. It's all the way up in the nosebleeds there. Can't see that one at all. This one here wasn't fired, but this obviously looks like something that they had on that table there. It actually looked like, let's see, it looked like the it kind of looks like a flash hider a little bit, but more like the muzzle brakes. That one there, it's hard to say. It looks like it's got the fins on the front. That could be a flash hider, I guess, but it was never used, so it doesn't really matter. This here, we do have ports on the side here, and then we got a solid space in the front. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what that looks like. This one here, we got a port there. It looks like nothing on the bottom. It looks like it's possible this was a compensator more than anything. Since it's got nothing on the bottom, now that I'm starting to understand how these fucking things operate. That looks like what that is to me. The other ones in this picture you can't really see. This one looks like it's got the holes in the front. That looks like a flash hider on that thing. Possibly. Again, it's hard to say from these pictures, but you do see the flat part on the bottom of this one. So it's very possible that was just a compensator on that thing. Here you can't really see much of this. Oh, can't tell what the hell that is. It matches, kind of melds in with carpet. See the burn marks, scorch marks there? Yeah, so this guy at some point, I guess I'm trying to think where that would burn, right? The barrel of the gun. I'm guessing because it's not the barrel, but yeah, this yeah, I'm guessing that's what scorched it. Another possible compensator. Looks like the bottom is flat, and then you got the openings on the top. This one here, can't really tell. Hard to tell. That looks pretty fancy, actually. Looks like looks very fancy on the front of this thing. Looks more like what he showed towards the end of that one. The one that had a little bit of the flash hider, had the compensator, had all that stuff on it. Yeah, that thing fully decked out. With these, I don't think. I mean, there is a 15 in here, an AR-15. Can't really see anything on that. It's definitely has something on it. I mean, that's a big beefy, whatever it is. But you can't tell. These here, they have something completely different. I don't know what the fuck this thing is. On 23 here, 22, can't really tell. 24, that's got some ports that are open on it. So the 23 looks a little goofy. They have anything that look like that? Yeah, they did have something that looked like that on that video we just watched. It kind of looks like Of course, he's. I don't think that this one was fired, so I don't know which of those guns was actually fired offhand. But I don't know if he picks it up though. No, he doesn't. He doesn't pick the damn thing up, so he's not explaining it. Because it looks like the one that's on the ground there on the table is what the thing looks like that's on that thing.
Surface.
Right.
Where it hits that.
Muzzle brake's going to be. So, for example, if you're shooting like a 7 mag versus a 45-70, the muzzle brake's going to be a lot more from the actual powder burn.
Burns a slower powder like that.
You're better off using something like a recoil pad or adding weight to the rifle itself to help absorb it.
So those are muzzle brakes. What's the difference between a muzzle brake and a compensator?
So the difference between a muzzle brake and the compensator is that the compensator is directing the gas in a specific direction to help push the muzzle in a desired direction. For example, like your AK-47 slant brakes, those are designed to push it at an angle because of where the mass on the bolt is and where it's going to be pushed.
Your natural climb is going to be
exactly
auto fire or something.
Exactly. So that's technically compensating. It's a compensator. It's compensating for something. And
it's no different than the 1911 comps with ports cut on top.
Exactly.
Muzzle down.
Exactly.
And rapid fire.
Right. And you can also combine them. For example, this muzzle brake here.
Okay. So yeah, he's not going to even really point that out and explain it. But yeah, the one, the second one from the left there kind of looks like what's on one of these guns. It's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell. But it does look like what we see on number 23 here. Possibly. It's very difficult to see it, but it's very possible. That's what's on that. Again, I don't know if that's the one that was shot, and it doesn't matter anyway, because we do see flash coming out of that window at some point. So obviously he wasn't trying to hide that one. But if he was trying to hide his flash, I mean, he could have. He could have. And I mean, there's an argument for that. So again, excuse me, man. The hiccups tonight. It's not conclusive, but it is interesting. It is one explanation that is a possibility. You know, so it's hard to say that conclusively we should see muzzle flash coming out of that window, and it's not conclusive that we shouldn't. But it does lend to the argument. So I just wanted to show that. I saw that video tonight. Thought it was interesting. Thought it'd be an interesting thing to share with people as far as muzzle flashes and stuff like that go. But as far as that goes, I'm out of here. That's all I had to really say on this one. And everyone have a good day. Let's run the outro.
Dude, pointed stick.
Pointed stick. Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Whoa, pointed stick.
That pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick. We don't have any time for your trolling behavior on this channel. It just isn't welcome here. And so, good riddance to you.